Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of PDF Plays Minecraft. We are back today here in our world. It's been a little while. We've had a few changes, so let me go over what we've done, what we're going to do, and where we're going to go from there. As you can see in the distance there, we have a little house up on the hill now. We are completely moved out of this particular little area. And I did bring everything over here. We'll go take a look inside. And here is the inside of the house so far. Not too much. A little bit of furniture, some torches, just because we don't have any other lighting in at the moment. We still have a lot of decorating to do on the interior, but we can do that kind of slowly over time. And then we actually have a basement, and down here is where I put the storage area. Some of our furnaces to cook and smelt things, and we've got a decent little bit of starter storage. So the main project for today that we're going to be working on has to do with food. We're actually really lucky in a couple ways. Being in a plains biome, as we are, we get a lot of non-hostile mob spawning, so food isn't the hardest to come by. That being said, it's also not the most reliable because we get a variety of non-hostile mob spawning. So I want to fix that. I want to do something about that and get us so we have a regular food source. So to that, we're going to be building a cow farm. As you can see, I have an area kind of prepped. It's not going to be ground level, but it'll be at least a little bit lower so it doesn't stick up and we can put a building around it easier. I have, I believe, most of our supplies here. The dirt was just for me digging this out. And I'm going to be using Prowl's cow farm that he recently did a video on. I think it's a good size for what we're going to be doing. Should give us more than enough steak and leather to last us pretty much the rest of everything, really. So what I'll do is I'll clean up a few of these roving mobs around here really quick, and then we'll get to work. Alright. Now, for all intents and purposes, this is complete. We've got all the structure in place, the water flow. It's going to be feeding any of the calves that drop down into our little drop chute. And we have a room down here. I can show you what we got. They'll be falling down into here, where they'll be wandering around till they turn into adults, in which case the lava will cook them, feed them into our chests. And then we can have all the steak and leather that we could want. We do have some unlit areas around here somewhere I need to find, just so that it stops making that noise. The other thing we need to do is finish filling in all these spots with cows. That's going to be a little tricky, but what I'm going to do is just kind of wander around back and forth till the cows appear. And then as they do, I'll bring them over and show you what it's like when it's full, and we'll see what this can do. Alright, and after much time has passed, we have all pairs of cows in place finally. That is generally the most difficult part of this build. The construction is easy, but getting all those cows in place. So let's grab some of the hay here. I can demonstrate how this works. Alright, so you come along, you just go ahead and feed the cows as you go, and each of them in turn will produce a little calf. Which will then make its way down here. And the EXP from breeding them will fall down typically too. And then we just wait until they grow up, and we'll be starting to get steak and leather in these. The reason I used slabs, in his original design he had glass. Slabs are if I wanted to, maybe once they grow up, I could turn the lava off and then manually kill them with, say, a looting sword. And that would allow me to get some extra drops and just gather a little bit of experience. But I'm not really using this for EXP. I'm going to make a EXP furnace. So yeah, I'm not too worried in that regard. But I like to have the option just in case. And as long as we kind of stay in the general area, they should still grow up on schedule. And yeah, we'll have plenty of steak in no time. And the neat thing about Bedrock is that, as opposed to Java, you really just gotta wait like maybe a minute, and then you can breed the cows again, and you're good to go. I think the cooldown on Java is 5 minutes. The only other thing we're going to need is a consistent supply of wheat. So we'll either have to make a big field of wheat, or possibly look into like a little micro farm. We've got a bunch of hay bales still, so for the moment I'm not too concerned. But we may put some wheat fields around more just for the look of anything. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of hang around the area for a little bit, and then we'll pop on down, wait, and we can maybe see some of the first cows getting cooked. So the next thing we need to figure out is what we want to build around it, kind of a shell to hide it. And I was thinking about maybe putting a building that's going to have our enchanting setup and the EXP furnace. So as we're there doing our enchanting, we can come down, feed the cows, and it'll be kind of a constant supply of food coming and going. Now, one of the neat things about this farm here is that it's actually very modular. You can make it smaller if you don't need as many cows, or larger if you're, say, providing food for a much bigger server. I didn't need to make it the 20 pair big, but since that was the design he went with in the video, I decided I would do it just for purposes of seeing if I could more than anything. And yeah, this will definitely give me more than enough food. It's a matter of waiting for them to grow up and be able to hit the lava. Like I said, and if you want to do it manually with a sword, all you gotta do, flip the switch, lava turns off. But for the full tutorial of how to build it and everything, I'll have a link in the description below. Okay, with the building itself being done, really we need to think about how we want to dress it up. I don't want to leave it just as is, kind of out in the middle of everything. I would like to put a structure around it, if nothing else, just to dress it up a little bit so it kind of fits in with the decor a little bit more. So we'll have to get a few materials. I'll have to make up some more of these bricks, possibly. I think I might want to use them in the building itself. And we'll see if we can't maybe turn this into a little bit nicer looking structure. Okay, so I have a bunch of just various materials in my inventory. I'm going to start kind of just free-forming an idea, see if I come across something that I like, and as I make some progress, we'll come on back and see how we're doing. Alright, so as you can see, we're starting to get kind of a basic structure in place. I'm just kind of winging it, if you will, building it as I go. And I've got an interesting little design. I'm trying to decide what else I may go with this. Maybe extend these up one more each. But it's got at least a good start. We can still see down here if we want. I'm trying to decide if I want to fill this in or not. I'm not too worried about it right now. While we're here, though, let's come take a look and check our chests here. Because all the babies are gone. So as you can see, we have steak and leather in both of the chests. Just kind of depends where they ended up when they were on fire. So yeah, that'll be a good supply of food and of leather. Not so much that we're going to need the leather eventually. I mean, it'll be good to make books and stuff, but the food's going to be the biggest one. And this will kind of be an ongoing work in progress. Would like to get it finished in this episode, so we'll just kind of keep plugging along and see where we end up from there. Alright, and we're back again. As you can see, made quite a bit of progress on the build. Almost has a little bit of a church-ish vibe, but not nearly as big. I generally have, I think the walls and everything all set. If we come inside, we can see it's not the prettiest, but it's made for function. The outside is just to look nice. I'm going to put some gates here so I can still... Or maybe some gates or some doors with some trapdoors or something just to kind of help fit the aesthetic. And then I think we're going to need to put probably kind of a roof that sweeps up to a bit more of a point. Not totally cathedral-ish, but something fitting along those lines. Still a lot of decorating to do. I started to, add a little bit of detail here. I need to get more of these flowers. But this is one that I think once I get kind of all the basics in place, we'll touch up as we get new ideas and we get better at building and stuff. And we'll just kind of go from there. So with that said, let me work on the roof some more and then we'll come back again after I have that in place. Alright, so after much time later, it is basically complete. I do want to redo the end of this roof line a little bit, and I think I'll do that at some point off camera. But right now, the structure itself, everything is complete. It's not a very difficult build, obviously, as you can see. I do like some of the elements here. I like having the walls kind of recessed a little bit, gives it kind of a more of a depth to it. But overall, yeah, for our first complete farm on the series, I'd say it's pretty good. A little bit of decoration, nothing too fancy, and who knows, maybe one day we'll revisit this far in the future when we're up to numerous episodes and we'll kind of revamp it a little bit. As our building gets better, we may come back and improve it. As you can see, lots of torch spam because I don't want anything spawning in here. And then we have, like we've seen before, our little room here. I added some lights in the ceiling just to get the torches off. But yeah, the meat is still here. Haven't taken it yet. But it works like a charm. So yeah, we'll be good to go. I think what we'll do in another episode is add some wheat fields around, both for decorative purpose and to actually just grow some wheat. And we'll do that, I think, maybe instead of a microfarm for now. We may build a microfarm later. The thing I would have to do first is come up with a way to get lots of bone meal. So I'll have to look into some different bone meal farms and kind of figure out exactly how I want to go with it. So, on that note, I think that's about as good a time as any to call it an episode for now. Next episode, I think we may pop into the Nether for a little bit more exploring, see if we can't maybe find a fortress, if we're lucky, start getting some blaze rods so we can do things like making potions, maybe even start getting like an ender chest. That way we can work on whereabouts exactly we want to put the enchantment set up and start building our EXP furnace, because that's going to take a while just for all the potatoes to cook down and fill the double chest. But we'll go over that more in the next episode, I think. So for now, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. My name is Phoenix. This Phoenix has got to fly.